far behind. This is Rich here on behalf of Rich TV Live, and today I wanted to talk to you about mind medicine. Okay, we are live on YouTube. Hope everybody's having a great day. Just wanted to make sure that we are now officially live, and I want to talk to you about mind medicine. The website looks like this: MMED in Canada, MMEDF in America, on the OTC in America, and the Neo Exchange in Canada, MMED. And if you go to their website and you just click on right here, click on news, scroll this down, and you can see all the top news here on behalf of this company. So all the news, everything that they've been doing here on their website. Okay, and that's the website. And now obviously we're pre-market. I want to show you guys the share structure. MindMed share structure, outstanding shares, 228 million, and 135 million shares held in the float. So it's not as tight as some of the other share structures we've seen. You can see here Mind Medicine in Canada currently trading at 65 cents. And if we go to the 6-month chart, if we go to the 6-month chart right here, okay, I don't know why that's happening. Let's just refresh this page. And we look at the 3-month chart. So you can see that over the last 3 months that this has made a big move up, went as high as 76 cents, and then has consolidated down to where it went to a much lower price and bounced back up to where it is right now at 65 cents. So it was really dead right here at 40 cents up until last week. And then out of nowhere, just exploded up all the way as high as 75 cents, 75, 76 cents in Canada. That's the Canadian symbol. You always want to mark the low lows and the high highs. So there's the low low right around 44 cents where it was just sitting for a while. And then it just had a rocket ship from 44 all the way to 75, 76 cents. And here's MMEDF. So MMEDF in America, same story. You can see here. Mark the bottom. 33 cents in America was the bottom. And then mark the top. 57 cents was the top. Currently right around 48. Currently right around this level here. So obviously it's made a big move. Now let's try to identify what that move was and why. So let's go to news. Let's see if they have the news here. Here it is. So this is the real reason, in my opinion, that this made this big move. You can see here, MindMed submits application for Nasdaq uplisting, appoints Canaccord Genuity as financial advisor. So after they announced this news, the stock really made a move. MindMed submits application for Nasdaq uplisting, appoints Canaccord Genuity as financial advisor. So there's the news. And Mind Medicine, the leading drug development company for psychedelic-inspired medicines, which is mushrooms, is evaluating an expanded United States investor base through an uplisting on the Nasdaq capital markets. As soon as they mentioned this, the stock has started to make a move. As part of the uplisting strategy in the United States, Mind Medicine has submitted an application to list its subordinate voting shares on the Nasdaq. The listing of MindMed shares on Nasdaq will be subject to a number of regulatory requirements, including review of the company and acceptance for listing by the Nasdaq. So this is the big news that really made this stock move. There can be no assurance that Nasdaq acceptance will be granted. So we don't know whether or not it'll be granted, but this is definitely, in my opinion, the catalyst that's allowed this stock to make a move. And what I'm going to do today is we're going to identify whether or not we believe this will continue and really break this deal down like we do like none other. Something we've been doing for quite some time now with lots of different companies. And this is a company that I think needs to be on your watch list and be on your radar. Mind Medicine co-founder and co-CEO J.R. Ron said the psychedelic medicine industry is maturing and expanding rapidly, and we want to grow with it. We look forward to working with Canaccord Genuity to evaluate the opportunity for an uplisting on the Nasdaq and help us navigate M&A, merger and acquisition opportunities now available to the company. So this is the news that really was the catalyst, in my opinion, to make this stock make a move. Now, they're not the only news. You could see here, let's go back. So they've had some other news recently. Here it is today. So there's some news that just came out today, this morning, out of Switzerland. MindMed collaborating on study comparing effects induced by LSD and psilocybin under exclusive license agreement with University Hospital Basel Liechti lab. So this is the news that just came out this morning. So this could be a catalyst for the stock this morning. Mind Medicine, the leading drug development company for psychedelic inspired medicines, announces the company has been conducting R&D work on psilocybin in collaboration with the University Hospital Basel's Liechti lab in a study to better understand and compare the altered states of consciousness induced by psilocybin and LSD. So this is the news that is literally coming out right now. And this could be a huge catalyst in the market today. I want to potentially get into that again, but I want to read this article that really explains why it could be a huge catalyst for Mind Medicine to go to the Nasdaq. The first psychedelic IPO takes investors on a higher trip, and other investment opportunities are not far behind. So there is a lot of interest right now in Mind Medicine and psychedelic stocks. Following the heels of Compass Pathways IPO, Mind Medicine, MindMed Inc., MMED in Canada, MMEDF in America, BGHM in Frankfurt, Germany, applies for Nasdaq capital listing. So you can see they got a little photo here of Joe Rogan experience. Obviously, he's a big fan of psychedelics. Thank you guys for watching. How you doing, Ampho Drew? Wow, price target of $1.75. Dale's report, price target 175. Well, that's pretty good. Back in May, Spotify shocked the internet by announcing a $100 million exclusive deal with Joe Rogan, comedian and host of one of the most popular and controversial podcasts in the world, The Joe Rogan Experience. Among the podcast's more unique pet topics is that of Joe Rogan's past personal use of drug called DMT for short. YouTube hosts dozens of viral videos with over 1 million views involving Rogan's experiences with the drug, showing the topic's popularity on its own. In May, Netflix released a documentary called Have a Good Trip with interviews with dozens of other celebrities talking about their own experiences with psychedelics. Experts are now thoroughly exploring the potential for the drug's beneficial use on patients with depression and anxiety, and so far the results are very compelling. Unlike traditional antidepressants, which often take weeks to months to positively affect mood and are ineffective for about 30% of the population, therapists are starting to turn psychedelics for their patients and witnessing startling positive results. High-profile entrepreneur and best-selling author of The 4-Hour Workweek, Tim Ferriss, is actively promoting psychedelics not only for depression, but also for self-improvement. Ferriss's influence helped spark a campaign that attracted 30 million in donations in 6 months into the field of psychedelic-assisted psychotherapy involving MDMA. Now, heavyweight investors are getting involved, including Silicon Valley billionaire Peter Thiel, as well as Shark Tank's Kevin O'Leary and Bruce Linton, who founded the world's largest legal pot company, Canopy Growth Corporation, both of which are involved in mind medicine. By 2027, the psychedelics drug market is projected to grow at a staggering 16.3% to the size of nearly 6.9 billion. The market is even anticipating the first psychedelic drug IPO to be worth more than $500 million, with a share price between $14 to $16. That would be massive. That would be absolutely massive. Through our research, we believe that there's already a player in the game that's got all the tools to offer a bigger bang for your buck, and it's the vehicle being backed by O'Leary and Linton. Get this, right now, they're not only trading at the time of this article, it was at 45 cents Canadian. Clearly, they're much higher than that. It's now at 48 in America and 65 in Canada. Obviously, really made a move since it started to put out news talking about their Nasdaq listing. With the pre-approval investment window, where pharma's 10 and 20 baggers are typically born. Working with the same university and literally invented LSD, this company is researching the potential of LSD, MDMA, ibogaine, and now DMT as well. They're easily the best pure psychedelic stock we've identified on the market. Given the explosion of antidepressants use in 2020 alone, due to lockdowns and new normal shifts, a new paradigm is needed and fast. The timing couldn't be more perfect to be on the cutting edge of the mental health revolution. 5 reasons why mind medicine, MMED in Canada, MMEDF on the OTC exchange, and BGHM in Frankfurt, Germany, could potentially be the health stock of the year. It's the premier pharmaceutical psychedelic treatment developer in the space with next generation R&D, developing state-of-the-art IP, intellectual property, including one of the world's first LSD neutralizers and dose optimizers to shorten and stop LSD trips for therapists to contain treatment within a pre-planned session length. Currently evaluating DMT, ibogaine, LSD, MDMA, and the world's first LSD MDMA combination for next-gen psychedelic therapies, with 3 platforms currently in phase 2 clinical trials, working to deliver upon the much touted technique known as microdosing, which has taken Silicon Valley by storm to help deal with and overcome adult ADHD and other performative challenges. To unlock the brain's higher function, leading the way with both non-hallucinogenic therapies as well as professionally supervised experiential therapies. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys are having a great morning. I want everybody to put Mind Medicine on their watch list, put it on your radar. It's been making a big move, and they just made an application to graduate to the Nasdaq, which could be absolutely phenomenal. This is their website, mindmed.co. You can see some of the transformative medicines that they're focused on. You can see they are advancing psychedelic-inspired medicines through clinical trials. And one of the things I like about this company is they are not interested at all in doing anything recreational. This will 100% be a medicinal company that is focused to be a medicine. This is a company that is focused on being a medicine. They are not interested in anything recreational. This is strictly a medicine. Okay, and I want to go back to their news right here. So this is the news that just broke pre-market. So this could be a catalyst today as well. MindMed is interested in understanding how psilocybin or LSD affects humans differently so that I can design better later stage trials or potentially even combine substances in future next generation psychedelic assisted therapies for patients. As part of MindMed's exclusive license agreement with the University Hospital Basel, MindMed will remain an exclusive license to all IP and any patents generated from data or findings in the study and related work on psilocybin, such as pharmacokinetic data and information on the metabolism. The study is anticipated to finish in Q2 2021. There's an increased medical interest in LSD and psilocybin for the treatment of mental illness. However, LSD and psilocybin have never been accurately compared in a modern clinical setting to understand the differences they create in the alterations in one's mind. Clearly, psilocybin has a shorter duration of acute action, but whether there are any differences in the quality of the experience and as a result in the therapeutic potential remains to be tested. MindMed President Mr. Miri Halperin Wernley said both LSD and psilocybin are thought to induce hallucinogens mainly through the stimulation of the 5-HT2A receptor. However, it is known that there are differences in the receptor activation profiles between the two substances, and these differences may induce different subjective effects. Therefore, with this study, we will try to understand and compare the altered states of consciousness induced by the two substances and identify potential medicines for patients. So this is the news that's really, in my opinion, groundbreaking. And this is the type of reason why companies like this have the chance to explode, because they're doing the work, they're putting in the R&D, they've got the big players behind them like Kevin O'Leary from the Shark Tank, from the Dragon's Den. They've got Bruce Linton behind them, a billionaire who founded Canopy Growth Corp. And now they are working with international players and hospitals to really develop their medicine to be a game changer. Now they're going to actually as well put out their application to get onto the senior exchange on the Nasdaq. And if they do list on the Nasdaq, I truly believe that this stock will skyrocket. Okay. Mind Medicine is pioneering a new way to treat mental health problems by developing a new class of medicines involving both non-hallucinogenic and hallucinogenic solutions. They're doing this with some of the world's top investigators, including the very institution where LSD was invented, the University Hospital Basel Liechti lab in Switzerland. MindMed was also listed and named as one of the 36 startups that could change the world by CB Insights. That's pretty huge. That's pretty massive. It is there at the Liechti lab in Switzerland where MindMed is launching the world's first ever clinical trial combining MDMA and LSD. But let's get to the point. This pure play psychedelics developer is leading the way on the path to FDA approvals. And we know what FDA approval does to stocks. It makes them explode, right? With multiple clinical trials, including phase 2 clinical trials for 3 of its leading platforms, each dealing with its own crucial mental health market, including combating opioid addiction and adult ADHD. Mind Medicine, MindMed Inc., MMED in Canada, MMEDF in America, BGHM in Frankfurt, Germany, has the brain trust behind it to deliver on its targets and bring these next generation treatments to a market that is so desperately needs a game changer. So let's delve into the company further to build a case as to why this pure play psychedelics developer is poised to be a significant winner in a therapy revolution. Okay, so we're going to get into the third wave here, but first let's just take a look at the stock. So the market is open right now, and it's actually right now MMED down 4%. Okay, let's just look at the 1 day. Okay, so you can see right now, if we actually just look at the 1 day, and we can see it's had this dip here. It's had this dip right away here, right at the open. Now, this could be for many reasons. Some people got in earlier and obviously have been taking profits since it did this jump. But with this news, I would anticipate that the stock would go up. Obviously, it's down 4%. It also could be dragged down due to the fact that the entire market has been going down all week, down 5% in America and 4% in Canada. Now, if we just go to Market Watch, let's see what the market's doing, because we've had some serious sell-offs all week. And you can see so far that the market once again is red. And I mean everything. The Dow Jones is red, S&P 500 is red, the Nasdaq down 2% already. That's substantial. And the global Dow down 2%, gold's down, and oil's down. So the markets have been dealing with a lot of resistance all week. And Mind Medicine is starting the day off red, similar to most of everything else in the market. So I think everyone as investors needs to be a little bit cautious and a little bit careful right now, because it really feels as though the markets are selling off. And I think you need to be careful as an investor right now. Okay, don't be rushing to buy anything. Be watchful that these stocks are going to hit a bottom before you get in. Now let's focus on the business. Typically, the first thing that comes to mind when thinking about psychedelic drugs is some combination of bursts of colors, out of this world visuals, waves of euphoria, or in this case, a second wave psychedelic pioneer, Terence McKenna, Conversations with Little Green Men. However, since the advent of the pioneering done by psychedelics activists such as McKenna, psilocybin, and Harvard professor Dr. Timothy Leary, LSD, a new vision for the use of these previously taboo substances is starting to emerge. It's called the third wave and involves high-quality research into specific uses of psychedelics under the guidance of trained therapies and researchers with the express goal of helping people of all walks of life live more vibrant lives. Wow, look at this. The Dow Jones just dropping, guys. So the market's under a lot of selling pressure. Okay, be very careful when you're getting into any of these stocks right now, because the market is clearly selling off right now. So just be careful. Under the guidance of trained therapists and researchers with the express goal of helping people of all walks of life live more vibrant lives, and the concept is not as out there as many may still think, Apple visionary Steve Jobs was said to have partaken in psychedelics, having chided his rival Bill Gates for being unimaginative and recommending he should take some LSD. Imagine Bill Gates on LSD. What's the time frame before we know they get listed? That's a good question. We don't know. They've just made an application. And obviously, once they get approved, or whether they do or they don't get approved, we'll then hear in the future. But it's important as investors, because we like to get in early, to know why a stock is going up and why it could potentially continue to go up. And if a stock gets listed on the Nasdaq, especially a stock that's at 65 cents, that's typically a pretty huge catalyst to see that stock go higher. Apple visionary Steve Jobs was said to have partaken in psychedelics, having, it's pretty interesting that he partaked and obviously created so much success. Today, many of the greatest minds in Silicon Valley are listening to the late Jobs' advice and boosting their careers with psychedelics. That's interesting. I never heard that. People are boosting their careers with psychedelics, through the use of method calling microdosing. Hey, this is the new method, folks. This is the new world. Cannabis can be legal, LSD, MDMA, but if it's used for medicine, I'm all for it. This concept involves taking tiny doses of psychedelics, often specks the size of crumbs, not to feel high, but to feel more focused, creative, and present. Interesting. And according to some intriguing research, it appears that microdoses may activate just the right amount of receptors in the brain for us to be our better selves. to be our best selves. Imagine that. Hey, Robert, how you doing this morning, brother? What do you think of Mind Medicine? It's made a big move recently, and it's now making the application to graduate to the Nasdaq. It hasn't been approved. It's making the application. Mind Medicine is the first ever exchange-traded psychedelics company to take microdosing into phase 2 FDA clinical trials, and that could be a game changer. But their contribution to the third wave doesn't stop there. Now, thanks to the advocacy of groups such as Multidisciplinary Association for Psychedelic Studies, MAPS, information is getting disseminated not only on microdosing, but on other forms of psychedelic therapy. Today, randomized clinical trials support the efficacy of MDMA in the treatment of PTSD, psilocybin in the treatment of depression and cancer-related anxiety. And preliminary research is supporting the use of LSD and DMT in the treatment of psychiatric disorders. However, what's been recommended for further research is dealing with challenges inherent to psychedelic treatment, namely difficult in blinding, a lack of data on chronic dose response, patient biases, and the duration of these therapeutic trips. Mind Medicine is developing IP designed to regiment and control dosages and make therapies such as LSD, aka acid, to be safely and effectively taken at home. So weird for people to use the word acid and safe at the same time, but that's why this is such a huge breakthrough technology. The company has already proven it has improved the safety of the process, announcing earlier this year it has developed LSD neutralizer technology to shorten and develop and even stop LSD trips. That's huge. Basically, MindMed has invented the world's first LSD trip-off switch. That's pretty massive. And holds exclusive worldwide rights to the technology. An LSD trip-off switch? So if you're having a bad trip, they've got a trip-off switch. That's big. This is the kind of game changer that could instantly propel psychedelic therapies ahead by decades. And not only that, alongside the University Hospital Basel's Liechti lab, MindMed has filed 2 separate patent applications for technologies to screen and optimize the dosing of MDMA and LSD, potentially making the therapy significantly safer based on a patient's profile. In essence, MindMed is taking on the biggest challenges presented in research for this field and systematically knocking them down one by one. From Timothy Leary to Kevin O'Leary, the evolution of a mainstream market opportunity, MindMed. Look at this. It is estimated a 100+ billion global total addressable market for psychedelics. That is gigantic. 4.5 billion, wow, global annual anxiety drug sales just for anxiety. 9.1 billion global annual ADHD drug sales. 9.1 billion. 42 billion for addiction, substance abuse treatment market, 42 billion, and another 4 billion for depression in global annual depression drug sales. Microdosing has the potential to become groundbreaking medicine. This is directly from Shark Tank and Dragon Kevin O'Leary, who was an investor in the company. Back in the 1990s, Eli Lilly and the company capitalized on a huge first-to-market advantage in the antidepressant market with the launch of Prozac. The product gave a huge lift to the company's sales, accounting for tens of millions of users and billions in profits. It was during the first explosive years after its launch that Prozac became a part of the cultural lexicon and changed the way people think about depression, anxiety, and mental health. However, it's been decades since the Prozac era began, and we're already seeing a need for newer solutions, not only for clinically depressed, but adults working in high stress environments that are seeking new methods to achieve peak performance in their careers. I've never really heard anything good about Prozac, and I heard it's highly addictive and been really, in my opinion, a drug that hasn't really helped anybody, but has caused more problems. With top thinkers, including Dr. Timothy Leary, contributing to what's been called the psychedelic renaissance, we're seeing a push to prove these treatments can become mainstream. You can see the mainstream media talking about MindMed, Bloomberg, investing.com, Forbes, Fortune, Business Insider, and the Wall Street Journal, just to name a few. Those are some huge platforms that are now looking at the potential of psychedelics. This is where mind medicine is built to succeed, through actual taking these new therapies mainstream scientifically. And as stated above, there's a groundswell of enthusiasm surrounding the use of psychedelics, not only in supervised therapy solutions, but also through a method called microdosing, which has seen plenty of anecdotal evidence of success in Silicon Valley. Now, MindMed is converting that anecdotal evidence into hard science. And it's this level of diligence that's intrigued celebrity investor Kevin O'Leary to take part. O'Leary is famously averse to investing in illegal substances, having entirely avoided the pot stock boom of the last couple of years. However, the concept of treating the very real issue of adult ADHD through administering non-hallucinogenic microdoses of LSD was just too intriguing for the star of NBC's Shark Tank to say no to, which is why he decided to get involved. By 2025, the ADHD market size is predicted to be worth $24.9 billion, growing by 6.4%. Here's Kevin O'Leary right here. The opportunity attracted not only O'Leary, but Canopy Growth founder and former CEO Bruce Linton as well. As of the period ended June 30th, 2020, MindMed reports a strong cash position with just over $24 million to execute its multiple clinical trials. This summer, MindMed co-founder and co-CEO J.R. Ron stated, "Our progress in the past few months clearly demonstrates the quality of our team and the pace at which we operate as a company. We are honored to pioneer the fast-growing psychedelic-inspired medicines industry alongside peers, including Compass Pathways." Now let's just look at Compass Pathways. Compass Pathways. So here's Compass Pathways, CMPS. So they're comparing themselves to Compass Pathways, and this is a stock that is currently at $36 and was recently as high as over 40. So if Compass Pathways could potentially be a $30+ stock, what could be the potential for Mind Medicine now that is only at 59 cents? Now, remember, Rich TV Live is strictly for education and entertainment purposes. Mind Medicine has made a move up. It's now selling off today, 9%, like a lot of the market is. And I can pretty much show you here, all we see is red, right? So the entire market is selling off today. All I see is red, not huge yet. And hopefully this changes, but there is not much going on that's very positive in the markets this week. And Mind Medicine had a nice run up and now is selling off. Now, I want to remind you, Rich TV Live is strictly for education and entertainment purposes. We are not licensed advisors. Always do your due diligence. Always do your research before you invest in anything that we talk about here on Rich TV Live. Always invest in the best. The best is blessed. I like this company. I think it has a lot of potential, okay? I'm not sitting here telling you to buy it today, okay? This is a company that just recently had a nice move up. If you look at the 1 month chart, you can see we marked it. It had a nice move up from 44 cents, went to 76. Now it's coming back down at 59, okay? I'm not suggesting you go and buy it today. I just want to bring the news to you. So as a community, we can determine whether or not we like this stock. And I want to know from you whether or not you like this stock, whether or not you're thinking about buying it. If so, at what price? Are you buying it in America, Germany, Canada? If so, at what price? And where do you think this is going? Okay. Anytime we talk about a stock, anything is possible. It could go up, it could go down, it could stay the same. Okay. When we bring you the news and we bring you deals, we want to bring you deals that are underappreciated, undervalued, underexposed. We want to bring you the news, explain why we like them, why we think there's the potential, explain their share structure, talk about their management team, and then try to identify a buying opportunity if one exists. Okay. And hopefully, if you get in early, I always tell my community, buy in the red, sell in the green. Buy the dips, sell the rips, and have no emotion. And if you trade like that, you can have phenomenal success. Okay. But you got to learn how to trade with no emotion. Eliminate the motion when you trade. Okay. So you can see the next generation psychedelics R&D, and you can see all the different focuses for this company: DMT, LSD, dose optimizer, LSD neutralizer. So super cool company with some cool technology. So another company that they've been compared to is ATAI Life Sciences, and nonprofits MAPS, USONA, and the Hefter Institute. There is a very clear distinction of the caliber of organizations advancing clinical trials to develop disruptive medicines for mental health and addiction. And we look forward to continually raising the bar for the entire space and patients. The investment market has responded very well to this wave of psychedelic-based medicines. Let's take a look at ATAI Life Sciences. Let's pull them up. ATAI. Wow. So MindMed is still falling now, down 10%. Okay, so down now 9%. It's at, just went back to 60 cents. Now up, now down 7%. Now it's 60 cents. If we just go to the one-day chart, we zoom in. You can see that they've sold off. They've sold off and hit a low here of 58. That was the low. Here's the low of 58. And currently at 59, it tried to bounce back at 60, but seems to be getting a lot of selling pressure right here. So Compass Pathways secured an $80 million in financing to boost its depression clinical trial based on psilocybin or magic mushrooms. So very similar to Compass Pathways in the technology. And once again, Compass Pathways, CMPS, a $36 stock. And if we look at the one-year chart, I mean, you can see these guys literally just did their IPO a couple of days ago and skyrocketed, opened up at 24 bucks, went as high as 43, and now they're sitting at $36. So a very successful IPO that just launched, and an IPO that's in the same space as MindMed, and they're at $36, and MindMed's at 59 cents in Canada, 45 cents in America, and just made their listing to the Nasdaq. So what's the potential for them long-term? MindMed just bounced back up to 60 cents. So it seems as though there's some buying coming in right now at the 58, 59 cent level, maybe 60 cent level. We'll see how it trades today. But you could see that it is actually only up down 3% in America now at 46.5 cents. down 7% in Canada, despite the big news. And it might just be due to the fact that the markets are selling off today. Oh, look at this. The Nasdaq just went green. So that's very bullish. All of a sudden, after the red, the Nasdaq is now green, which is pretty interesting because it started the day down 2% and now out of nowhere is screaming up. So this is good, and hopefully the market can turn around. Hopefully that can turn the market around, and that might change a lot of things for a lot of stocks right now. So the company's upcoming IPO for Compass Pathways is expected to be priced at $14 to $16 per share, but yet Compass right now is trading at $36, giving a valuation of as much as $544 million. But right now with them trading at $36, that's going to put them at about $1 billion. ATAI Life Sciences AG, largest shareholder of Compass Pathways, is seeking a valuation of $800 million. Wow. After recently raising $25 million towards the Compass Pathway study. MindMed is more than keeping pace with these peers. Keeping pace with these peers, eh? Could you imagine if MindMed went from 50 cents to $36? By meeting its milestones along the path to FDA approval, successfully raising funds, and capturing the public's attention with mainstream media coverage. I think everybody needs to put this on their watch list. Everyone needs to put it on their radar. I think the potential for this company is enormous. Here's some of the key players: Billionaire, Shark Tank, Dragon's Den, Icon, Kevin O'Leary. This could save lives, cure depression, help alcoholism, get people off opioids. Why wouldn't I want to be invested? I mean, that sounds just like Kevin O'Leary. Bruce Linton from MindMed, strategic advisor, strategic investor, board member. There's probably untapped value, which will only go to the people who are at the beginning and bold. And we know how bold Bruce Linton is, being the founder of Canopy Growth. And look, while we are live, MindMed is climbing now back to 61 cents, only down 6%. So hopefully the market climbs back, and so does everything else. But you can see the market is kind of mixed right now. It was down early. The Nasdaq just briefly went green, and now we're still seeing quite a lot of red overall. So we'll see how the market goes today. But it seems pretty mixed right now. And James Bailey from Bale Capital, through psychedelic-inspired medicines, MindMed has the potential to treat the most challenging and damaging mental health issues of our time. Now, these are some of the catalysts within the MindMed pipeline. So, clinical trials with LSD for anxiety, which is ongoing and preparing. LSD suicide headaches, which is ongoing. LSD microdosing, adult ADHD. Trial starts in Q4 2020, which is right around the corner. Opioid withdrawal and addiction, which is ongoing and preparing. MDMA has been completed. And DMT trial starts Q4 2020, so right around the corner. In late July, Mind Medicine announced it had completed dosing on its phase 1 single ascending dose SAD study of 18-MC, and the results were quite promising, as dosing of 18-MC as well was well tolerated in humans and will advance planning for a phase 2A clinical trial in opioid addiction. MindMed's co-founders and co-CEOs Stephen Hurst and J.R. Ryan stated in the accompanying release, the successful and on-time completion of dosing in this phase 1 study for 18-MC is an important first step in our company's mission to alleviate systemic societal problems with addiction and mental health using psychedelic-inspired medicines. We are very pleased with the initial dosing outcome of the phase 1 SAD study. It gives our clinical team confidence as we advance preparations to begin our phase 2A clinical trial and hope for millions of patients suffering from opioid addiction. MindMed plans to begin phase 2A study of 18-MC in opioid addiction by the end of this year. In June, the company's microdosing division further expanded its phase 2A clinical trial of microdosing LSD for adult ADHD, adding an additional clinical trial site and principal investigator at the University of Hospital Basel in Basel, Switzerland, the birthplace of LSD, for its phase 2A clinical trial of LSD microdosing. Also in June, MindMed began its phase 2 clinical trial of LSD for suicide headaches, being treatment with patients in Switzerland. The company also intends to initiate a phase 2B human efficiency trial for a project dubbed Project Lucy, designed to focus on experiential doses of LSD by a therapist. This is the first experiential psychedelic assisted therapy to be added to the company's drug development pipeline. With the launch of Project Lucy, MindMed is now preparing a total of 3 phase 2 commercial drug trials based on psychedelic-inspired medicines, making it one of the most advanced and largest drug development pipelines in the psychedelics industry. You can see all the clinical trials. Here is J.R. Rahn, the founder and CEO of MindMed, and you can hear about and learn about his history and background. Stephen Hurst, founder and co-CEO. These are the 2 major guys behind the company. Here is Miri Halperin, president, and you can read about her background. So very strong team, and obviously some big players involved. Scott Freeman, chief medical officer. Donald Gaylert, PhD. So they are building a very strong board of investors, entrepreneurs, doctors, and professionals in this field to grow this to become a potential global powerhouse. So you can see their management team. There's Bruce Linton, who's a director of the company, and a huge success story, obviously, with Canopy Growth, which made him a billionaire. So you can see a very, very strong team that they are building, and it looks as though they've got the right team for the job to make this a huge success. As you can see, while we're live now, it is starting to climb. Now MindMed is now at 62 cents in Canada, only down 4%. So it did dip down to 58 cents temporarily. It's now back to 62. Let's see where it goes. And if we look at the market overall, pretty choppy. So kind of a little bit up and down today. We'll see how it finishes. So 7 investment highlights for Mind Medicine, MMED in Canada, MMEDF in America, and BGHM in Frankfurt, Germany. Number 1, MindMed is a pure play psychedelics company entering 3 phase 2A clinical trials for psychedelic platforms, including Project Lucy, a psychedelic assisted therapy, LSD administered by therapists, 18-MC ibogaine derivative for opioid withdrawal treatment, and microdosing LSD for adult ADHD. Number 2, targeting large multi-billion-dollar markets, including ADHD, which is projected to hit nearly $25 billion by 2025, and an ongoing opioid crisis that costs American society $500 billion annually. Any of you guys own MindMed? Any of you guys interested in owning MindMed? I think this is a company that has all the potential to be an absolute giant, and I'd love to know what you guys think. Kai Turnup Mila says, MindMed for the win. Great pipeline and great company. Is Compass with hardly no info can do well, so can MindMed. I agree. And that's why I wanted to show this to you guys, because I thought it has some incredible potential. And it's always my job and my modus operandi to find you undervalued, underappreciated, underexposed opportunities first before they explode. You know, we talk about Bruce Linton. I brought you guys Canopy Growth in 2017 when it was at $5, and then it went to 70. And when I brought it at $5, everyone is saying it wouldn't be successful. It went to 70. So who's to say that MindMed can't be a huge success? Now, look, since we've been live, it's been climbing, actually. It went down initially. Now it's back to 64 cents, and it's almost back to where it started today. So if you got in on that dip, congratulations. Now it's ripping back up, and it's very close to back to being par. Now back to 64 cents in Canada, only down 1%. So literally starting to climb while we've been live after an early sell-off. Look at this. The market is starting to go green, and MindMed is going green with it. Not yet, but I have a feeling that it might jump up and go into the green. Now back to 62 cents. I'll be watching it very carefully, and I'll keep you guys updated. And if you're part of our training academy, I'll be talking about this within our group throughout the day. So MindMed is the first ever exchange-traded psychedelics company to begin phase 2 trials of microdosing LSD, a treatment growing in popularity among some of the top minds in Silicon Valley. Developed and now holds exclusive worldwide rights to an LSD neutralizer technology designed to shorten and even stop LSD trips, i.e. an LSD off switch, game changer. Nobody else has it. Currently, financially healthy with a strong cash position of $24 million. Support from high-profile investors and scientific advisory board members, including Canopy Growth founder and former CEO Bruce Linton, Shark Tank host Kevin O'Leary, 18-MC inventor, and leading addictions researcher Dr. Stanley D. Glick, MD, and leading psychedelic researcher Dr. Matthew Johnson. Management team and board with an extensive amount of industry experience attached to a variety of companies, including Lilly, Nexstar, BVGH, Strattera, Nugent, Onyx, Roche, Pfizer, Nexavar, Allelex, SGC, Y Combinator, and Uber. So that's why I believe MindMed needs to be on your watch list and needs to be on your radar. Beautiful team of powerhouse players, and typically success breeds success. Success attracts success. So when you have guys like Kevin O'Leary and Bruce Linton involved in a deal like this, boom, we're back to 65 cents, folks. We're right back to par. We're right back to where we started, just like that. So if you bought the dip, you're already in profit. Mark says, MindMed has been moving consistently since your alert months ago. And that's what we like to do here at Rich TV Live. We like to identify these picks early, before they explode, okay? And I still think this is early for Mind Medicine. I'm not telling you to buy at 65 cents. I just think it's an early stage company with so much room to grow, pre-revenue, pre-sales. And once they start to generate revenue and they start to generate sales, and if they do get listed on the Nasdaq, I can almost assuredly guarantee you this will not be trading at 65 cents. It might be trading at $6. So I'm not saying it's going to be a 10 bagger, but I'm thinking with guys like Bruce Linton and Kevin O'Leary behind it, I wouldn't be surprised to see it do something special. Now, even if it went to $1 and you got into 65 cents, that'd be pretty awesome. And it's never been to $1. I'm not suggesting it will, but like I said, with all of these powerhouses behind it, it seems silly for me to think that these guys would get into this company for it to be trading at 65 cents. Now, as investors, I'm sure they probably wanted to get in as cheap as possible, because I know that's the way I think, and then see the company explode so everybody wins. I believe we're going to see that here with Mind Medicine. I don't know exactly when, but I'm going to keep it on my radar, keep it on my watch list, continue to keep you guys aware of everything that happens. This is a sponsored ad. Okay, this is a sponsored video. So always do your own due diligence, do your own research before you invest in anything that we talk about here in Rich TV Live. Almost every single day now, we are doing sponsored ads. So just remember, when we're doing a video, it is always strictly for education and entertainment purposes. Do not go out and buy a stock just because we're talking about it. I'm not a financial advisor. If anything, go and consult your financial advisor and ask them what they think about Mind Medicine. Okay? Don't take my word for it. Take your financial advisor's word for it. Now it just hit 66 cents, which put it in the green, and then it just bounced back. So who knows? We may even see it go green today on the news. So stay tuned. Thank you guys for watching. If you're not winning, you're not watching. Your boy Rich from Rich TV Live. We've been doing this since 2017, and we will continue to. Mind Medicine now officially green, up 1.54%, just like that, folks. Thank you guys for watching. Like we said, if you're not winning, you're probably not watching. We bring in the winners, and like we've done right now, we bring them to you first. Thank you guys. Have a great day. I'll talk to you soon. Now, I got a really busy day today. Stay tuned. More videos are coming. Big news, big things happening with Rich TV Live. So stay tuned. Thank you guys for your support. None of this would be possible without you guys. I love you guys. I'm out. Peace. It's nice to see them in the green. Love it when I go live and stocks go green.